this press conference with a thank you to John Fox.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
You're listening to Rochester, Indiana's #1 podcast, the Tan and J-Man Show, featuring Josh Munt and Tanner Lee.
This is episode 88 of the Tan and J-Man Show, sponsored as always by Fraunfelter Dental Clinic, great family-owned dental clinic that offers laser whitening and dentistry along with braces, implants, and your typical teeth cleanings. You'll see Dr. Bill or Dr. DJ today for all your dental needs. Like them on Facebook. Check out their website, stateoftheartsmile.com. We'll be joined a little later by our good friend, Aaron Lynch, to talk a little British Open.
Yeah, heck of an Open championship yesterday. Fortunately, I wasn't able to watch a ton of it. I was out battling the rain myself in a Round Barn Tour event. But I got to listen to a lot of it. But, Lynch Mob, he's a big-time golf fan. Probably the biggest golf fan I know, at least of our age group. And, so I thought, I gave him an invitation. Hey, why don't you come on and talk some Open? So he'll be talking some Open and other golf topics later on in the show.
Yeah. So, ready for some Birdie Bogey?
Yeah, speaking of golf-related stuff, I think Birdie Bogey followed you in the door.
I should have picked a golf question, but I couldn't really find one. So I got an NFL question for you. Training camp opens this week.
Thank God.
So,
last week without an NFL game, preseason or regular season, until after the Super Bowl. Hall of Fame games next week.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You going to watch the Hall of Fame game?
Actually, I'll probably watch a little bit of it just to watch. I'm starving for football, man.
You are, man. So, it's a pretty straightforward question. Name the 3 longest active droughts without a Pro Bowl quarterback. The 3 teams with the longest active drought without a Pro Bowl quarterback.
I'm going to really have to think about that one, but I like that question a lot.
I will even give you a little bit of a hint. Do you want a hint?
Maybe later.
Okay.
Let me think about it first, but I like that. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, we'll be talking some golf later on here in a little bit with special guest Aaron Lynch.
Birdie Bogey is sponsored by the Noble Gnome.
The Noble Gnome. It's a fresh market, garden market, I guess you can call it, owned by my cousin Bryce Romine and his wife Katie Romine. They have started it up in Mentone. They'll be getting it over here in the Rochester area shortly. They are on Instagram at Noble Gnome, so go follow their account. They grow a lot of fresh local produce, lettuce, radishes, among other things. So go give them a follow. I think they're going to really start amping up their social media here shortly. So, we'll be talking golf and little Big Ten Media Day. I know Josh doesn't have anything to add. I have a little bit Purdue talk, and I might knock that out with when Aaron calls also. So, but I know you got some Cub talk, big series win over the hated St. Louis Cardinals. So take it away with your Cubs report.
Yeah, the Cardinals really, in order to get back into the division, really need to sweep the 5-game series or at least take 4 or 5. But Cubs won 3 of the 5, including splitting the doubleheader on Saturday. They're playing fairly well still. They've won since they got swept in that 4-game series against the Reds. Cubs have are tied for the best record in baseball. They're 16-7 since then. Really coincided with them being able to come back home and play some home games against some teams they should beat, and they have taken care of business. But offense is still going along really, really well. Anthony Rizzo was on base 17 times in that 5-game series, which is just pretty insane. He's starting to heat up, and he's leading off now. His slash line since being in the leadoff spot since I think it was, I don't even know the date for sure, but he was hitting 237 with a 340-ish on base, and now his batting average is up to about 260, and he's getting on base at a 360 clip, as well as slugging over 400 now. So he's really been heated up because he was really struggling there for a while, and it's part of the reason why the Cubs are hitting the ball really well. Chris Bryant's back. He's been back for a few weeks now, and he had a pretty good series against St. Louis. Ian Happ has continued to be really, really good at the plate. He's walking a ton, hitting homers, which is really good to see. Starting pitching continues to struggle. John Lester has been great, but he was so bad on Friday. He gave up, I think, 8 runs in 3 innings or so. Kyle Hendricks continues to struggle. Jose Quintana was great yesterday and has an ERA under 3 over his last 15 starts. Tyler Chatwood sucks. Mike Montgomery has just been okay. They need a lot more consistency out of the starting rotation. The trade deadline is a week from, I believe, tomorrow. Is it the 23rd today? Sorry for putting you on the spot.
I don't know.
It is the 23rd today.
That's how bad it is. I have no idea anymore.
So the trade deadline is a week from tomorrow, Tuesday.
What are they
July
going to do?
31st.
Who's some guys that they might target?
I have no clue. They made a trade on Thursday night for an under-the-radar kind of pickup to really help with depth in the bullpen. Jesse Chavez is his name. He's been around forever. He's been on 9 teams now over like 12 years. He's been around forever, but he had some pretty good numbers with the Rangers, and so they trade for him, and it really helps mainly for depth because it's kind of getting old watching them having to use the AAA bullpen up here
sure.
trying to get high leverage outs. I fully expect them to go make at least 1 or 2 more moves to the bullpen. In my opinion, they need to go out and get a starter because I think they'll run away with the division with this rotation, but I don't know if they can win a World Series with it. They just don't miss bats. They walk too many, don't get deep into games, and starting to really tax the bullpen to where they're starting to struggle a little bit. And, of course, with Brandon Morrow on the DL, which is hopefully going to be a minor short stint on the DL, fully expect them to go out and get a guy who pitch in the bullpen, maybe even 2. They've been mentioned with Zach Britton, who was a great closer for the Orioles, but has had some injury issues the last year and a half or so. But it sounds like there's a lot of teams that are starting to get into that sweepstakes. I'll just drive the price up, and the Cubs don't want to, mortgage their future again for a rental reliever. So I think they'll make some under-the-radar kind of pickups to help the bullpen. But other than that, I think they're pretty good. So no need to ruin a good thing. They've been kind of mentioned with Jacob deGrom for the Mets, but they'd have to trade off the Major League roster in order to get him. And having the best record in the National League, they don't really want to screw that up. So
his agent is saying either giving him a long-term contract or trade him.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. And the Mets have kind of been mentioned talking about trading maybe Noah Syndergaard, but he was put on the DL with hand, foot, and mouth disease, which is crazy because that usually happens to toddlers.
He was at a clinic. I know somebody who's a teacher who has got it.
They say it's miserable.
When he was student teaching a few years ago, and put him on, I'll call it the teaching DL for about a good week and a half, 2 weeks. So
they say it's miserable. I remember
it's not good.
My sister had it when she was like 3, and she was miserable.
Just sounds like a nasty disease.
It really does. Somebody said they had it on Twitter. On Twitter, this person said they had contracted it and they lost full use of their right hand for 2.5 weeks. So
that wouldn't be good for me.
No, because you're right-handed.
Yep. So. You got anything else with the Cubs?
I have nothing.
So I don't have too much to add with the Yankees. They only played.
You should just talk about the Rockies. You're clearly a bigger Rocky fan than you are a Yankee fan.
No,
now.
I'm not.
Clearly, judging by your Twitter.
I do tweet about them more probably, but because I follow so many Denver things on my Twitter, that's all I see. But I will talk about the Rockies a little bit, but I want to talk about the Yankees first. The Yankees split with the Mets 1-1. Last night's game was postponed. They're at Tampa Bay now, which, get this, in the last 2 years combined, they've only won 4 games at Tampa Bay. Only lost to them 3 times at home.
It's pretty much a home game for them down there,
Yeah,
too.
they can't win. So they're at Tampa starting tonight, and then they host the Kansas City Royals. So be a good weekend to try to make up some ground on the Red Sox.
You know, people kind of talk about the Orioles as being just horrible. They should look at the Royals. Their record's fairly
Awful,
similar.
Man. Isn't it crazy how a team can drop off from winning the World Series a couple of years ago to just
Nothing.
Yeah. But, yeah, you talk about the Rockies. They've off to a good start where they've picked up where they left off from a good start after the All-Star break. Took 2 of 3 from the Diamondbacks over the weekend. They now have a record of 53-46. Still sitting at third in the NL West, though, but they're really close. Big series this week. 2 big series, really. They host the Houston Astros, the defending World Series champs, starting tomorrow. And that is just a 2-game series. Then they host the Oakland Athletics in a 3-gamer this weekend. So
Oakland A's are surging.
Big weekend for the Rockies. But yeah, they've been playing really well. Just can they keep it up? That's the big question right now. In the NL West, they're 2 games behind the Dodgers and only a half game behind the Diamondbacks, who are 1.5 games behind the Dodgers. And then the Giants are sitting in 4th at 5 games behind the Dodgers. And then San Diego's 15.5 back.
I think they're only a game and a half out of a wild card spot right now.
The wild card, and when you go to the National League,
the Braves have the second wild card.
They are a game and a half because Diamondbacks are only a game behind Atlanta. So then you got the Pirates, 4 games back.
Yeah, Pirates are surging. They've won 9 in a row. They have actually leapfrogged the Cardinals for 3rd in the division.
The wild card, you got the Diamondbacks are a game back, Rockies a game and a half, Pittsburgh 4 games back, Cardinals 4.5, Giants 4.5, Washington 5. Then it jumps clear back to the Cincinnati Reds at 11.5. Reds, Marlins, Mets, and Padres are out of it.
Remember when people were trying to tell me that the Reds were good?
I remember one person, maybe 2.
Yeah, multiple people when the Reds had their great stretch, and now it's kind of falling back on hard times.
Then you look at the, while we're talking about wild cards, you look at the AL wild card and have the Yankees are 4.5 games up on the Mariners for the first wild card. Mariners are up 3 games over the Athletics, and you made kind of a bold prediction earlier about that.
The Oakland A's will get that second wild card. They're playing great baseball, been one of the best teams in the league really since the start of June. And Mariners are 20 games over 500, but they're only plus one in run differential, which means they've been really, really lucky to this point.
Then it gets really weird after the A's. You have the Tampa Bay, who's 1 game over 500, but they're 9.5 games back. Angels 10 back. Toronto 13 back. Minnesota 14.5 back. Texas 18 back. Tigers 18.5 back. White Sox 25 back. Royals 29 back. And the Orioles a whole 32 games back. Orioles are 28-72. Are they the worst team we've seen in our lifetime?
They're really close to being as bad as.
But as you said, the Royals they're 30-68. Even the White Sox are 34-64.
The 2003 Tigers went 43-119, and you could make a case that the Orioles without Manny Machado will not win 43 games.
You got another book it right. That's 5 in a row, man.
5 in a row. Manny Machado traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers for really not much.
And you look at the, we're talking the National League, the worst team in the National League, or the fewest amount of wins, I should say, is the Mets with 40. And you got, in the AL, you got 3 teams way under 40. White Sox 34, Royals 30, Baltimore 28.
The American League has the star power with the Yankees, Red Sox, Indians, Astros. But the National League's deeper. 11 of the 15 teams in the NL are at 500 or above right now.
And I'm really glad I didn't make my 5-mile bet on Tim Tebow playing for the Mets because the Mets are so bad. I thought they might call him up. Timmy broke his hand this week. Looks like he's done for the year. Too bad for him, really, but it is what it is. It's part of sports. Injuries happen. Even though he never, ever got hurt as a quarterback.
He was going to quit anyway because he was going to go commentate on SEC Network. Just take Saturdays off. And
was he really?
Nah, I'm making that up. But
I would.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, So did he commentate stuff last year after baseball?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. He was actually decent at that, but yeah. So, all right, let's turn our attention to some golf now and get our good buddy Aaron Lynch on the phone. We are now joined by our good buddy and huge golf fan, Aaron Lynch. Aaron, how's it going tonight?
It's going good, guys. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to talk some Open golf with us. What did you think of the Open yesterday?
Probably one of the most exciting finishes we've seen from the R&A put on for a long time. You had everything you want, big names on the leaderboard on Sunday, Tiger making a charge, and, Spieth doing Spieth things on Sunday.
Yeah, I like how you brought that up about the R&A, because it seems like they get it right year in, year out, but Mike Davis and the USGA can't get the U.S. Open set up right.
Yeah. I don't understand what the USGA can't learn from course layout like the R&A has learned, and letting the course play for itself almost.
Yep.
And letting the weather determine what the scores are going to be, and not letting the players die over double like what Mike Davis wants the USGA to be.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, look back at the last handful of British Opens we've had. I mean, 2 years ago we had that epic match between Henrik and Phil. We had Rory beat Ricky a couple of years ago. We had Phil's epic comeback in 2013. I mean, Sunday always brings the drama in the Open. The Open just never disappoints.
It doesn't. I actually think it's probably the second best major behind the Masters.
I agree with that completely. What was your assessment of Tiger's play yesterday?
You couldn't ask for anything much better than a player that hasn't played competitive golf in probably a year and a half, and to come out and perform like he did, it's phenomenal. I mean, I know a lot of people are, well, he didn't close it out, but I mean, it's a process, and the biggest win for him throughout this whole Open was actually qualifying for the last WGC event at Firestone. Yeah,
I mean, I'm on record not being a big Tiger fan, but what the guy's been doing this year and how he's progressing as the year's gone on, I can't really, I can't say anything bad about that. And it definitely makes golf more interesting when he's in the hunt. I mean, you checked the Twitter feeds yesterday when he was the solo leader, and Twitter and social media in general is just lighting up. He brings different sets of eyes that aren't normally on the golf world when he's playing well.
Right. He moves the needle. And all the success that Rory, Jordan, Ricky have, they can't move the needle like Tiger does.
No, not at all. And even Dustin and a couple of the other guys, Justin Thomas, none of them can match what Tiger's done for the game and is doing for the game. But one thing I find interesting that nobody's bringing up, though, is, at Tiger's age, that's how old Phil was when he won the British. And that's also, how old a few other guys have been. Nobody's bringing the age factor up at all. I mean, and I think it's got to be sooner rather than later when Tiger gets his next win. But, I mean, Father Time's ticking away, too.
Yeah. But that's a major that time is almost your friend.
You're right. And Tom Watson almost won at the age of 59. So
and Darren Clark won later in his years.
That's who I was trying to think of, Clark. Yep.
But it's a major that favors more the veteran golfer than the young gun that's going to drive for show and also make putts for dough.
Yeah.
It's something that I wish golf would, move towards, but, the unpredictability of the weather, it's something that, here in the States we don't have.
No, you're right. You're right. And, I thought it was interesting just Tiger can bring out something in the crowd that nobody else really can. But he does still show flashes that he's not Tiger of old. For instance, right when he got in the lead, he followed that up with a horribly struck 3-iron off the tee, and you're just like, where did that come from? I mean, Tiger of old, once he got the lead, he would just take off and not look back. But he also hadn't been in this position in a major in 10 years.
Right. And the last time I believe he co-led or led around was the 13 Masters. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're talking 5 years that this guy has been in that pressure, in that situation. So, I mean, he's learning. He's going through the process. I actually think the process is going to be complete here in 2 weeks. I believe he's going to win at Firestone.
Yeah. I mean, how many times has he won there?
8 times.
8 times. So I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I know that was a big goal of his just to get in that tournament. I do think to compete down in St. Louis next month at the PGA, he does need to get his driver figured out, though.
He does. That's going to be a tournament that the scores are going to be super low. He can't, take iron off the tee like he did here at Carnoustie. He just needs to put the driver in play and be able to keep up with the, Dustin's, which he can by distance, but just accuracy is terrible.
Yep. And how about we talk about last year's defending British Open winner, Jordan Spieth. Jordan kind of just fell off yesterday, wasn't his normal self. I really thought going into yesterday he was my pick to win it.
I think it's the haircut. I really do. But, Jordan Spieth is just a golfer. I mean, the guy's co-led in a major, I believe, 6 times, and go with a 54-hole lead, and he's only won 3 of them. I mean, we could be talking at 24 years old, this guy having 6 majors already.
I know it, yeah.
I mean, that just puts in dominance how Tiger, before Y.E. Yang came back and beat him in 2009 on the PGA at Hazeltine, of having that undefeated record with a 54-hole lead.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jordan, it's whatever Jordan you're going to get on Sunday. Are you going to get the Jordan that, choked the Masters away in 2016, or are you going to get the Jordan that, turns it on after something bad happens? And yesterday, shooting 5 over, even with the lead, I thought he would come back. That birdie attempt at, I believe it was 14 or 15, he missed. That killed his momentum, and he had no shot from therein.
Yeah, it is interesting because, Spieth's been real close this past year, but now, since he didn't win this week, it's been over a year since he's won a tournament.
It has. And you just got to wonder, is he going to find, his putting magic? It looked like he did this weekend,
mm-hmm.
and then he, lost it again. I mean, it's completely mental with him. I don't think it has anything to do with the physical traits of his game, but just what lies between the ears for him.
No, I think you're exactly right. And you're talking about finding the putter magic. Rory found it late in the round yesterday. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I was listening to No Laying Up podcast, and they said Rory had no business being in that tournament. But, here's a stat. I mean, Rory was the only player that shot under par all
mm-hmm.
4 rounds.
Yep.
And, for that golf course to be as hard and firm as it was, and there's a Rory being in contention,
mm-hmm.
it's starting to show that Rory's starting to become a complete player.
Yeah, and I've been a guy that on record has said that when Rory plays his best golf, he's the best player in the world. Unfortunately, we just don't see Rory play his best that often.
We don't, and that's, sad, because the guy has all the talent in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He could easily have 8-9 majors by the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems like he doesn't golf. He's on the record. Golf's not the highest priority in his life.
Yep.
Which is all right. But, at some point, this is your, livelihood, Rory.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, you look back in 2014, after Valhalla, he won the British Open and PGA to get his multiple majors, and you're thinking, geez, he's got to get double digits no time. Well, now we're sitting in 2018. He hasn't won one since.
Right. And we kind of wonder, is he going to, win one again? I mean, he had a shot this spring against Reed at the Masters
mm-hmm.
and couldn't pull that out. And yesterday had a shot, and he just faltered at the end. And I think it all goes back to his putting.
And I agree. And I think that's the thing with a lot of these players. Rory, well, he can win a PGA. Yeah, he can. But if he doesn't, then he's going into next year on 5 years without winning a major. If he doesn't get one next year, going on 6 years and so forth. Father Time shows no mercy towards these golfers. And that's one thing, as a big Ricky Fowler fan, he's only got one more chance here at the PGA before he turns 30 in December. And these young guys aren't getting any worse. They're getting better and better.
Yeah, we just saw Xander Schauffele come out. He won the Tour Championship last year, but to come out and compete in a major away at 24,
yeah,
it shows the depth of talent that the Tour has.
He's just another product of that class of 2011 that's been incredible. And, I mean, Ricky's too talented not to get one sooner or later, but, I've always said he's going to get multiple, but now, I mean, really some doubt was starting to creep in my mind over this week, and especially seeing him hit that horrible tee shot on 6, left out of bounds on Saturday. It took an 8 and really just crumbled his tournament from there on. It just sometimes something just doesn't click. I mean, there's times like at Augusta when he gets second place, but then there's other times like Saturday at the U.S. Open, Saturday at the Open this weekend, where he just has a shot or two here and there, and it just ruins his whole round.
And I think as the longer it goes for Ricky, the harder it's going to be, just like it was for Sergio.
And Phil.
And Phil. But the thing is, I think Ricky needs to take a look at, they have these so-called teams with him. He really needs to take a look at his team. I think his caddy, Joey, should have been managing those expectations with his player. I think there's too many times, especially this season, early on the year in Houston, has the lead after the first 2 rounds and just falters.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
These are things that, on the course, your caddy needs to help you manage. And I really think he needs to take a hard look at his caddy.
Yeah, and that's something I know you and I were texting about it over this weekend, and I saw somebody on Twitter, I think it was just some fan, said maybe he does need to look at making a change because I think he's good with Butch. I mean, that's helped his career that's really helped his career positively, but yeah, maybe he does need to look. I mean, Joe Scovrin's been his caddy since he's got on tour, but maybe a switch wouldn't be the worst thing. I mean, he hasn't won since the Honda last year in March.
Right, and at some point, he's got to look at that.
He's got to. I mean, he's too talented not to. I mean, I hate to call him overrated. I mean, last time he got called overrated, he won that Players' Championship. But I don't know. Something's got to give because, I mean, it's these players are getting better and better behind him, and he's got to get one soon.
He's got to. And going back to your point with Rory, I don't think the window's closing on Rory. I think Rory's best shots are still ahead of him. Next year, they're going to Royal Port Rush, and he owns the course record there for a competitive round, shooting a 61. I mean, it's his, home country, finally hosting the Opens, first time since 1951. That's going to be big for Rory. But for Ricky, I'm just kind of concerned. I don't know when he's going to actually pull one out.
And Rory, going back to Rory, he's always going to have a chance in the British Open. I think the last 5 Opens, he's got top 5 finishes, if not won it. But I know Josh has a question that Travis Watring tweeted in to us last night.
Who wins the next major, Ricky or Tiger? Who gets one first, anyway?
It's a good question.
That is a good question. I'm going to have to say Big Cat. I will be on the record for saying Big Cat because we're going to Augusta. If nothing happens at Bellerive, we'll be turning back to Augusta. Tiger now has a full competitive year under his belt, where he competed a lot and was right there in the hunt. And we're going back to one of his favorite tracks that he's had success on, and to think that 86 with Jack and being the oldest Masters winner lives in Tiger's mind. I think he understands where Father Time is, and also the prestige of that event. Him being the oldest winner of that event wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, that's also a course. I mean, Ricky's played really well at. Yeah, that's a good question. I really don't know which way. I'll still say Ricky gets one. That's probably more me being hopeful than anything. I don't think he gets the PGA this year, so I think he's going into next year as a 30-year-old, still looking for his first major. I still think his first one's either going to be at Augusta or at an Open Championship. I definitely don't think it's going to be a U.S. Open, and then PGA is just too hard to predict.
I actually think it's going to be very hard for Ricky in the upcoming course venues. I mean, look at Tiger's success in the next few after Bellerive. I mean, Augusta, and then we're talking Pebble Beach.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's very hard for me to think that Ricky's going to have a good shot. I thought his best shot was at Shinnecock. Yeah. And to blow it like he did on Saturday and then come back on Sunday with that great round just shows it.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
Yeah, he needs to put 4 consistent rounds together. It's always that one round.
So I guess I got a question for both of you guys. I mean, after Tiger's performance, do you think Tiger's going to be a captain's pick for the Ryder Cup? He's sitting currently 20th in the standings.
Absolutely. He'll be on the team.
I have no answer.
Yeah, I think he'll be on the team. I think I wish I should have the Ryder Cup standings up here because I think that's going to be a heck of a Ryder Cup event this year.
Well, one thing after yesterday's results that I was kind of shocked is Webb Simpson actually moved into the top 8.
He did, yeah. He's been playing really well. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else you can really say. I mean, he won the Players this year and he contended this weekend, and yeah, he's starting to really find his game.
He definitely is, but as a Team USA fan, and as you guys are as well, I mean, I don't think we want to see him back in Europe where 4 years ago he topped the ball.
No, he was horrendous, and I'm not a big Webb Simpson fan, to be honest. There's just some golfers I really don't like. He's kind of one of them, but he is playing well. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, heck, we've talked about the Open this long. We haven't even talked about the winner, Francesco Molinari, yet.
Yeah, we haven't, and I'm going to do a shout out to Frank Navolo for picking him earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
He's the hottest player definitely on the planet right now.
Oh yeah,
I mean, in his last 3 events, he's won T2 at John Deere and then won the Open.
Yeah, you can't argue with those results. And I mean, he stared Tiger in the eyes and didn't flinch. I mean, he's the first guy to do that in a major since Y.E. Yang.
You're absolutely right about that. That shot on 18 that I know Tiger was going to be at 6 under, but to stuff it inside of him at 18 with the burn and the wind yesterday, that's clutch.
Yeah, he was impressive. I mean, that's just another European that's going to be on that team. And I know you're a big golf equipment guy, so I want to get your opinion on this. Francesco's yet another major winner who doesn't have an equipment contract. He plays a mixed bag, just as we saw with Patrick Reed at the Masters and a few other tournament winners. Do you think this is going to really become a popular trend on tour?
I think it is. I mean, you left out Brooks Koepka as well.
Brooks, so all 3 major winners this year.
Yep.
So if you go to pick a PGA champion this year, you want to find a guy who's playing with a mixed bag.
You might. I mean, I mean, if that's how it looks like the cards are unfolding, but you know, with these lucrative apparel deals that these guys are getting, they can move to whatever equipment they're given. I mean, each one of these guys have an apparel deal at Nike that have won, so that gives them the freedom and leverage to actually, you know, play the equipment that they want, test the equipment that they feel is best for the game, and be able to play in each conditions. I mean, it's something I think the game is going to start moving to. I mean, even when Justin Thomas and Jordan came out, they signed with Titleist because that's what they played their whole, you know, junior amateur careers with, and just signed lucrative apparel deals.
Yep.
It almost feels like when you get stuck in a club contract, you know, you're hindering your game and what possibilities could be out there.
No, absolutely. I mean, and Ricky, when he turned pro, he was Titleist. He was Titleist and then also wearing Puma, but when Puma bought out Cobra, that kind of made the switch mandatory for him to switch from Cobra, and now he has had success with Cobra. But I mean, sometimes with these certain apparel deals, it kind of restricts you down to what you can play.
Yeah, it does. But there is one golfer that I think has it all figured out and has been with one brand for a while, and that's Justin Rose. I mean,
yeah, he's TaylorMade all the way.
TaylorMade all the way, and had his best Open finish finally. Best since he became an amateur. He was an amateur there. I mean, yeah,
that's right. And he barely made the cut. He had to make 8 to 10 footer on Friday to make the cut, and then he darn near came back and won the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, if he's at 1 over even after Friday, we're talking Justin Rose being the Open champion right now.
Yep, and that would be an Open champion, U.S. Open champion, and a gold medalist.
And that's definitely a Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely. But okay, Lynch, we won't take up too much more of your time, but one thing we like to do with every guest, I know you listen to the show, is do some rapid fire questions. So some of these will be golf related, some won't. For instance, this first one, which I always start off with, is a hot dog considered a sandwich?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. Thank you. It's in its own category.
That is correct.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Madden to come out?
I am probably a 10. Well, let's taper the expectation 7 because I haven't won a playoff game. God knows how long now.
Yeah.
I'll bring up the rear this season again.
What you're going to be the Brownies? I heard.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe.
I might have to be New England just for a competitive advantage.
Seriously?
Yeah, why not?
That'd be playing mud twice a year.
I'm gonna be the Raiders.
Great. Oh, this is fun.
Go away from the Fins.
This is fun. Let's see here. What else we got? I'll go back to a golf question. Does Phil Mickelson win another major during his career?
Are we talking senior majors?
No, PGA. I don't know if he'll ever played a senior tour.
No, I actually think we're at the end of Phil's career.
Okay.
It's this summer has been pretty disappointing.
It has been pretty bad for Phil. He's been making headlines for the wrong reasons. That's for sure.
I thought after Mexico that this was going to be a special season.
I did too. He'd been playing so well early in the year, and yeah, ever since Shinnecock, it hasn't been good. Who is your pick for Belle Reve PGA next month? I'm putting you on the spot. I know we're a few weeks away, but
well, I don't know much about the course and the course layout, but I'm going to go with Jason Duffner.
Duff, yeah, he's been PGA champ from the past. It's got to be somebody who can handle the heat and humidity because St. Louis in August is pretty darn warm.
Brutal.
Well, the guy who played golf in Alabama at
That's
Auburn,
true.
I think he can.
And he was the all-time goalie over there in that, I want to say, frat boy house that Ricky and Jordan and Justin and Zach Johnson, they were all playing or living in over the weekend over in Scotland. They were playing some soccer, and Duff was the ultimate goalie all-time goalie for both teams. I thought that was pretty funny.
He's sneaky athletic.
He is. He is. You're a Purdue alum like myself, big Purdue sports fan. Expectations for Purdue football. Give me a total wins amount.
Well, my expectations this year are I'm not going to, make them sky high. The schedule is not easy.
It is brutal. It's a brutal schedule. 10 out of the 12 opponents made a bowl game. Yep.
Yep, and right off the bat with Northwestern
Yep.
at home, that's going to be, a real key game right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
No cupcakes. I actually think, a 7-5, 6-6 season isn't bad.
Oh, I would take that. My prediction's 7-5, so I'd be thrilled with making a bowl again.
Hearing Jeff Brom today at Big Ten Media Day for football, I mean, he's pretty hyped about this defense being young but having playmakers.
Yeah.
The key though, he said, goes back to the offense and the wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I still think there's a talent deficiency within that group, but I mean, he's bringing in the right guys with Bradshaw, Rondale Moore. I mean, these guys will make an impact down the road, but I mean, losing two key seniors last year to graduation is just going to, make it a little harder on that offense.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth there, wide receiver, a lot of potential, but somebody just got to step up and make plays. But they're pretty stacked at running back and tight end. Line's kind of a question mark, but at least they return a lot of experience there. Who do you want starting QB under center against Northwestern, David Blau or Elijah Sindelar?
I'm going to go Elijah Sindelar.
I agree.
I think he's a great rhythm passer. Definitely has the arm to stretch the field. I just get frustrated with Blau making, dumb decisions, and when he could take off because he has the athletic ability. But I'd also be fine with playing two guys again.
Yep. Nope, I agree. You pretty much hit the nail on the head for me. Mike, got any more questions for him?
Nothing.
Got nothing. Who'd you pick to win the baseball World Series?
Oh man. Mike, you're going to hate me. I actually think the Cardinals are going to rally around this and actually make wild card and get to the World Series and do it.
That's a good one. That's a really
they
funny one.
They put a whipping on the Cubs this weekend, 18-5.
The Cubs won 3 of 5.
Yeah, but Matt Carpenter had himself a weekend.
Just a weekend?
Yeah, it starts momentum.
I haven't laughed that hard in a while, so thanks. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
All right, I got one more question for you. You are now an Indianapolis Colts fan after being a longtime Philadelphia Eagles fan. Going into the playoffs last year, you made a move from the Eagles to the Colts. Lo and behold, the Eagles win their first ever Super Bowl. So now as a Colts fan, what are your expectations for the Colts this year?
I have no expectations for them.
None?
It really depends on Andrew Luck.
It does.
They might go 3-13. They may go 10-6.
Oh, Lynch, always fun talking to you, man. Thanks for listening to the show and taking time to talk some open with us and just some random sports stuff. So appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
See you,
Take
Lynch.
care.
The Lynch mob.
The mob.
I think he tried to get you going there with the Cardinals comment.
Thinking the Cardinals are going to rally and win the World Series.
I was really hoping you would go off a little bit, but
I don't have the energy
kept
on
her
this
cool.
Monday.
Kept her cool, but I'm not going to really hit on Big Ten Media Days. Kind of hit on it with Lynch, so I don't really have much more to say. I do have a poll going on the Tan and J Man Show Twitter account for any Big Ten football fans or definitely Purdue football fans. I just want to know who you want starting week 1 against Northwestern, Elijah Sindelar or David Blau. Got it up for 2 days. Last time I checked, it was 4 votes, Sindelar, 0, David Blau. So,
okay. I think Sindelar's a lot better.
I think he does a lot more. The only thing I think Blau does better is run. That's it. Sindelar has the arm strength.
Bigger.
And he's bigger, and I think they're both
coming off pretty bad injuries, though.
They are, and I think both are good leaders. They seem like the teammates like them both, and I mean, I don't know why you would take them both the media day if they're not respected by their teammates.
Yeah.
So, one thing I wanted to bring up here, Josh's favorite college basketball analyst, John Rosting, came out with, he was covering the Big Ten today. He's been covering all conferences lately. He came out with his preseason rankings for Big Ten basketball. And I know we're not even a football yet, but I wanted to bring this up because we like talking Big Ten here. His Big Ten offseason power rankings are as follows. 1, Michigan State Spartans. 2, Michigan Wolverines. 3, Nebraska Cornhuskers. 4, Indiana Hoosiers. 5, Wisconsin Badgers. 6, Maryland Terrapins. 7, Minnesota Golden Gophers. 8, Iowa Hawkeyes. 9, Purdue Boilermakers. 10, Ohio State Buckeyes. 11, Penn State Nittany Lions. 12, Illinois Fighting Illini. 13, Northwestern Wildcats. And 14, Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Any thoughts?
I think it's pretty fair.
Pretty fair?
Yeah.
I got a couple disagreements.
Yeah.
I think, in my personal opinion, I think Purdue should be about 6th, not 9th, but they do have a lot of question marks.
They lost 4 starters, so
they lost a ton.
I get why.
I don't agree with Minnesota and Iowa being ahead of them. I should say that much.
That's fair.
But that would put them at 7. I don't think Indiana's 4.
No. I think they'll be better.
I do too.
One guy in basketball can change a lot.
Can.
For a guy that's never played a minute of college basketball.
I was surprised to see Ohio State at 10.
I wasn't. They lost a lot too. Lost Tate, Bates
Diop.
Diop. Who else? Somebody else.
But Illinois 12, is that fair?
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
I think conference could be pretty good, though.
I do too. I think it'll be better.
It'll be interesting. And I just bring this up for any Purdue fans who might not know. If you follow Purdue basketball, Purdue sports, you've probably seen it on social media. But long-time Purdue basketball announcer Larry Clisby announced last week he's been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and brain cancer. So Cliz is now in the fight for his life. There's actually a GoFundMe page on Purdue Sports Twitter, and I know Matt Painter donated $10,000 towards it. So
how old is he?
He's in his 70s, but Larry's been doing this for about 40 years. He is the voice of Purdue basketball, like him or not. He can be pretty negative, but Purdue basketball's won't be the same without him, and you just hate to see something like that happen. But yeah, I don't think I have any other sports notes, so I'm ready for
the J-Man needs to make a book it prediction of the week, so this will be it.
Dano, hold it a minute. I want to book this one.
Cubs have a pretty tough week. They have a 7-game. Well, they play all 7 days. I can't say it's a 7-game road trip, 7-game homestand, because they have 4 at home against the Diamondbacks and then go on the road to St. Louis. This will be the J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week. As I already said, it will be the Cubs will go over 500 this week. 4-3 at the Horst.
Can you make it 6 in a row?
Gotta.
Wilder going to make his appearance?
He might. He's creeping his head
He has
out.
been back. I haven't played Lloyd or Harry for a while either.
Yeah.
So I need to get on that. Starting next week, I will if you get it right. So.
J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week, as always, sponsored by Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Travis Watchering.
Here's a little blurb from Travis himself.
Watchering with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. I'm a multi-line agent specializing in life, home, renters, auto, business insurance, workers' compensation, and farm insurance. Please contact me at travis.watchering@infb.com or 219-869-4561. And my business Twitter is @TTW_IFBI.
And with that, Birdie Bogey.
Birdie Bogey, sponsored by the Noble Gnome. Name the... I've got to look it up again. The 3 NFL teams with the longest quarterback Pro Bowl drought. Do you want a hint?
Yes, I do.
It is not. The Browns are not one of them.
Yeah, because Derek Anderson, right?
But I have no clue.
He's the only Pro Bowler I could think.
The number 1 team.
Well, this is tough.
It's been 32 years.
This is tough because a lot of
the second team's 22 and the next team's 21.
A lot of people get hurt and fill in.
Well, they have been either voted into. Because if they get hurt or just don't play, they're still considered Pro Bowl because they were voted in or whatever.
32 years for the number 1 team?
Yes.
Wow. 32 years.
Name all 3 of them. Gotta name all 3 of them. Just think of terrible quarterback play within the last 30 years.
Ooh, I think I have one, but he might have got voted in the Pro Bowl, though. Detroit Lions?
No. Stafford's been in. I'll give you 2 more guesses.
Chicago Bears?
The Bears are number 1.
I thought Cutler maybe got in one year. Okay.
Jim McMahon was their last Pro Bowl.
Buffalo Bills?
No. I don't know who got voted in. Maybe
Tyrod must have.
Probably Tyrod, yeah. Or Jim Kelly. It's been 20 years. Nah,
Dolphins?
Dolphins were 2. Dan Marino was their last one.
Yeah,
22 years.
I feel like Pennington would have got in that 1 year.
No.
And how many years was the third one?
21.
I
don't think you're going to get this one.
Kansas City Chiefs?
No. Baltimore Ravens.
Really? Flacco's never been voted in?
Can you name the last Pro Bowl quarterback for the Ravens?
Elvis Gerbach?
No. That's a good guess, though.
Wasn't Dilfer.
No.
Who was the quarterback for Dilfer? I don't know who the quarterback was in the 90s for them.
Vinny Testaverde.
Then he played for the
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
He played for every damn team in the league, let's be honest. Almost.
Almost.
So, well, I got a big old bogey this week. How bad?
Big old triple.
I like that trivia question. Well, that's a good question.
That's a tough one.
That was a good one. Anything else?
I'm tapped out.
I think I'm tapped out. Episode 88 of Rochester's #1 sports podcast, the Tan and J-Man Show. You can like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter Tan and J-Man Show. Follow us on Instagram the Tan and J-Man Show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put all of our podcasts on there, as well as SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and on our website, thetannandjmanshow.com. With that said, we'll be back next Monday for episode 89. Have a great week, everybody.